Hi, I'm Anu. First of all, thank you for the very engaging discussion. I work with the Mass Math and Science Initiative, which works on increasing access to pre-AP and AP rigorous courses for populations that are traditionally not represented in pre-AP and AP courses. And I just started working in the organization, and some of the things that we sort of measure with our students is college enrollment, two-year college persistence, and four-year college persistence. But this discussion has really opened my eyes to what are the other things that students need in order to, what college access and success really means on a broader level. So two related questions. First of all, I guess I'm wondering what else, now that I've sort of opened my eyes to the magnitude of the problem, I'm wondering what needs to be done at the high school level or the pre-college level in order to improve readiness for access and success in college, because I guess not being from a low income or underrepresented sort of background, it's hard for me to get my mind around what is it that can be done at the pre-college level versus increasing supports at the college level. So if you could speak a little bit to that, that would be welcome. I know we talked a little bit about helping kids with grit and persistence, punctuality, attentiveness, consistency, exposure and that kind of stuff. So if you could sort of broaden that spectrum for me, that would be welcome. And a second related question is, I guess for our organization, like I said, we sort of have these three metrics: enrollment, two-year persistence, and four-year persistence. But I'm wondering, what else should we be looking at to measure college success? And I know that, measurement and metrics aren't everything, but if we want to be honest with ourselves as an organization about what our impact really is, and this might be more of an academic question, then what are the metrics that we should be looking at in terms of college success? Thanks.
I'll just say a couple of quick things. The first is there's a big elephant in the room here that we are not talking about. Actually, I haven't been. I think Liliana and Joe have talked about it a little bit. And that is the fact that there's such a huge discrepancy in academic preparation based on your SES status throughout the country. So what we're talking about mostly is the additional discrepancy that comes where prepared students, even for students who graduate with very good records from high school, those who are from families with higher income are likely to do better than those who are from families who come from families with lower income. That's a problem, but the bigger problem is the academic preparation. So if you're an organization that is going to be able to promote advanced coursework and the value of AP work, there's more and more evidence that's going to trump anything we're talking about in terms of college level support. So that's the first point. The second point, with regard to what are your benchmarks, two obvious things to think about are what do the students want to do, and if what they want to do is to go into science, the STEM major, science, technical, engineering major, math, then one of the benchmarks I would want to know is how much are you encouraging students to do that and how much are they staying on that path. And the other point I would say is that your numbers aren't going to make a lot of sense in a vacuum. Those are the right numbers to be looking at, but you should have some realistic benchmarks and you try to judge what are the population, we're drawing in a certain population of students. If we weren't there, what do those benchmark numbers look like? Can the school districts or other people we're working with help us to figure out what the numbers might be? Because by nature of what you do, you're drawing in better students than the average. So just the school averages aren't going to be that helpful.
I'm not sure there's much to add to that, though. The metrics, and when you mentioned metrics, I automatically went to the metrics that we use in the college setting, and I thought about credit accumulation and cumulative grade point average. And we have found in researching our students and trying to understand the data on UMass Boston students is that students for us that complete 24 college credits, maintain a 2.5 GPA, will graduate from our university in 6 years. Students who complete 30 credits per year with a 3.0 or higher will graduate in 4 years. Students who register on time will continue to graduate. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking at and some of the metrics that we're trying to consider. Completion of early general education or gateway type courses within their first year. whether that is English composition classes, math courses in those first year, freshman seminars, those kinds of things, not withdrawing from classes consistently. So we're finding those kinds of metrics for us as important markers to show that our students are on track and not looking just at the year-to-year persistence or semester-to-semester persistence.
I don't have a quick answer to your first question on the high school. You know, what else can you do if this has been revealing to you in some way? Let me ask everybody this question, because I did see that everybody could raise their hands. So this is a relatively young crowd here. So some of you aren't really that far out of high school, so you may remember and be able to answer this question, but I'd invite anybody to answer. Is there anyone here that went to a high school that was not tracked? Yeah, and I mean both formally or really obviously informally. So just put your hands up real high. Let's just do a count. So I've got 1 hand up, 2 hands up, 3, 4. Okay, so let's even say there's 10 here, because 5 are embarrassed that they went to an untracked high school for some reason. I don't know. Right? So most of us have been in a high school. I taught in a high school in rural Vermont, and when I was told when we went there, it's an untracked high school. You know, spare me. You know, the course selections were really clear to the students and their parents, and to my colleagues in the English department. You know, and if you wanted to take junior level, you know, great works course that included Shakespeare and everything else, you were somebody who was going to do pretty well in the SATs, and you were going to college. And if you were doing periodical writing, okay, mimicking Newsweek magazine, you probably weren't thinking about college. So we foisted it on ourselves and the community and the students as it's all individualized, you know, decisions. Wrong. Okay, that's the analysis through which I think we need to look at what are the issues here. Because that is so pervasive, even in the proportion of schools that say they're not tracked. And what that means is some kids are ready to, let's use AP as the stand-in here, for AP, and many of them, that decision was made 10 years earlier. It's way too late for that. And so that's what we're up against. David Brooks called education, you know, the great sorting mechanism. And that's what we do. What's education supposed to do? It's supposed to enable somebody to make the leap from the conditions into which they were born to have some sort of life's opportunity to participate fully in a democracy and in the economy. That is not happening. That transfer generally is not taking place, which is why when institutions like Lesley and other find students that actually do make that transition, we get them on our webpage, we celebrate them, and we are part of the process that tries to convince the rest of the country that this is working. And statistically, we're not even close. So that's how pervasive it is. So I'd be cautious of anybody who's got a quick answer on how to deal with that one, because it is phenomenally complex, and that's what we're all up against in our organizations, trying to take that on. It's a very tough thing to take on.
Hi, I was wondering if you could specifically address the problem